Welcome traders, I'm Adam from Trade with Precision and welcome to IC Markets Market Commentary. Let's have a look at what is going on in the markets at the moment. So first of all, just having a look at that VIX, it is still sitting in the sort of low volatility, low fear area. So the markets are not very spooked at the moment. And it's a possibility that we could be heading towards Christmas and therefore the markets are just kind of checking out. That is a possibility. That is certainly one possibility. Let's have a look at the dollar index. So the dollar index is currently still stuck within a range. And actually, if we have a look at it from a daily perspective, I mean, I recognize that I have been talking about this for a while, but we have definitely broken this uptrend. And currently, we have a sideways range. And so what I was looking for this last week was looking to see if we actually broke below this, because if we break below this level of support, we've lost this uptrend. So we're certainly not bullish. We're going through a consolidation phase. And so what I'm waiting for here is clarification. Are we going to work our way down to the bottom of the range, which would take a couple of months, and therefore we would get a weaker dollar, and that would provide us with some high probability trading opportunities? Or are we going to work our way back up and break out to the upside, which would provide us then with probably several months worth of dollar strength opportunities? And so I just wanted to make clear that is what I'm actually looking for here. If we have a look at the euro dollar daily, we've got a very subtle uptrend here, so that euro is strengthening against the dollar. And so this coming week, what I will be looking for is continuation to the upside. So we're currently going through a little bit of a retracement. I'll be looking for that to head higher. Actually, if we look at other pairs such as GBPUSD, that has actually started to trend higher, so the pound is quite strong. But then we get across to things such as dollar yen, which is currently in a weekly pullback, but within a longer term uptrend. And given everything that's going on with the Bank of Japan, there is still a fair possibility that we could see this continue to head higher. So let's have a look at gold. So gold is currently working its way, working its way to the upside. It is battling with a strong level of resistance at 4250. But it is still holding, and there is a possibility that we could see this break out, and that would probably put it somewhere. Let's have a look. Probably put it somewhere around close to the sort of middle of December. So let's see how that plays out. So gold and silver still very much intact, still looking quite bullish, but right now going through a bit of a consolidation phase. And as I said, the very fact that we're heading into Christmas means that we could see this starting to go into a little bit of a coma just for the next couple of weeks, because everyone is checking out. So just something to keep in mind. Then if we have a look at crude oil continues to head low. We've got a bit of a sort of a bearish sort of a triangle wedge thing for wedge pattern forming. But I can't really see the longer term trend changing at this time. We'd have to see quite a significant break above that sort of $80 level. And so until we do, for now, my position is bearish, but I'm not seeing anything that's worthwhile trading, ladies and gentlemen. It just is still very choppy. I'm not really seeing anything that's fantastic there. The S&P. All right, so this last week, so the previous week, we had a really nice bullish finish. We did actually follow through, but I have to say this week's trading was very small. The kind of activity that we saw was consolidation to sort of a consolidation and a breakout. And the US tech had one of the sort of, relatively speaking, best kind of performing days here, or performing weeks, meaning that the follow through from last week to this week was a little bit more bullish. And again, I expect at this point in time for most of this to continue to push higher. But again, as we head towards Christmas, there is just a very real possibility that the markets will begin to check out. All right, so let's have a look at the FTSE. The FTSE produced a bullish candle the previous week. This week, not really. We just kind of broke the high and then we kind of pulled back a bit. Not a lot of activity happening here. For now, this uptrend is still intact. And so this coming week, I'm still going to be looking for moves higher to see if we could break through that level. So from a daily perspective, I see this more as a consolidation, and therefore there could be a bullish candle. We're still looking more bullish than bearish here. We could see a bullish candle, and it would then have to just work its way past, let's call it 9,750, if we have to do that to get past that level to go back into an uptrend. HK is more range bound at the moment, but not bearish yet. So, keeping in mind that there is a very serious disconnect between the stock markets, which is, think about it like this, it's very much passive income. All right. So most of the money that goes into stocks is going to be savings and bonds and tax cuts and various other things. And therefore, it's not really connected to income. So even if we are seeing jobs being lost and people kind of struggling a little bit here and there, it's not really translating through to corporate earnings at this time. So there is a delay for that to happen. If people are going to be losing their jobs and spending less, then we'll see companies starting to produce lower quarterly earnings, missing their targets, and then eventually it'll start to reach its way into the upper echelon. So, for example, we could continue to see the markets climb for several more months. It's a possibility. All right, let's have a look at Tesla, for example. So Tesla here looking quite bullish. Higher lows coming back into this level of resistance are looking very, very bullish at this point in time. So we could see a breakout this coming week. NVIDIA as well, having sold off a little bit there from a monthly perspective, looking at it from a weekly perspective. We still have a higher low. We've got a swing low here, and so we could actually see it push higher this coming week. And then finishing off with Bitcoin. So one of the things I spoke about was that we've got a bit of a deeper retracement here. So what does that actually mean? It means that the selling off was a little bit more than in the previous cycles. What does that actually mean? It means that there is a very real possibility that in the coming months, we could see Bitcoin potentially go a little bit sideways, but that doesn't mean that we aren't going to see it head higher in the coming weeks. And that is it, ladies and gentlemen. So a little bit of caution as we head into the Christmas holidays. For now, the bullish trends are intact, and so I expect them to continue to push higher. But if we do lose a little bit of steam, it is likely because we are heading towards Christmas, and then we'll have to see what happens when January comes around. So traders will most likely be taking a break between Christmas and New Year's, and I recommend that you do as well. That being said, listen, have a fantastic week, and let's carry on sticking to the plan according to what we've been looking at for the last few weeks. Thank you.